As we saw in the very first video, Ruby is a little bit territorial with people who come into the house. Normally I just do one video per session, but this is such a nice family. We're doing a little bonus dog behavior work here. So what I've got here is I've got 4 treats in this hand. I'm using the Tricky Trainer high value liver flavored treats. Make sure these are really, really high value. We want to create a positive association with people coming in. In this video, I'm going to walk through a way that we can bring people into the apartment and use positive reinforcement for her to feel good. Let's definitely not do that right now. I don't want to play fetch right now. I want to focus on me. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get up and go over to the door as if I'm a guest standing right inside the front door. So when people come to the house, now this is an apartment, so we actually have to have somebody go let them in. What we're going to do is have mom or whoever the handler is going to come inside first, and we have the family's eldest son is going to be being the handler of the leash, but anybody in the family can do it as long as they have control of the dog. What we do not want to allow happen is the dog to rush and pull that person up, pull the handler up to the guest. We can't let the dog pull themselves. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be standing at the door. When the mom goes out to the door, lets the person in, we're going to have the person stay outside the door. Mom's going to hand them 4 treats, and I've got them here. And she's going to have a 5th treat that they're going to keep in their other hand. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop these treats in a strategic place, and then we're going to allow the dog to go over there to find it. And I'll have you stand at one point, and I'll tell you when. So I'm going to go ahead and transition over here, and the camera person is going to transition down the floor so you can kind of get a dog's eye perspective. So this is the front of the home. So the guest is going to come in and wait right here. The carpet, make sure you see the carpet right there where she's on. She is not allowed to leave off that carpet. Right there, that is too much leash for her to have. So I'm going to choke it up around your wrist. And I wouldn't hold it like that. I would wrap it around your wrist. That'll slip out of your hand really easily. So there you go. I usually would just go boom, 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 boom each time. Instead of you're holding it, so go to the end, put your hand through it, grab it right there, and then wrap it from there. There you go. That's going to be much more secure. It's a little bit more dangerous to do that. Hey, Ruby. There we go. That's more dangerous to do it this way, but it's going to give more control. In this situation, the last thing we want her to do is be able to rush free. So when the guest comes in, the guest now has 4 treats. The guest is going to take one step and drop 1 treat right here. Then the guest is going to take a 2nd step and drop another treat right there. Take a 3rd step, drop a treat. A 4th step, drop a treat. At this point, the handler is going to walk through the kitchen that way. So go ahead and walk that way. The handler, the guest is going to stay right here. So once she gets around the corner, she can't see the guest. Once she can't see her, the guest is going to come and follow me. I'm going to come and sit right here. All right, now you can stand up and go ahead and film her. Now the handler is going to lead her to each one of the treats. And after we've done this a couple times, she'll know what the drill is. Now film me real quick and stay right there. Now as the guest, I'm going to sit in this chair and I'm going to keep my orientation this way. I do not want to look at her. By staring at her, then that can be interpreted as a challenge. I have my last treat. The guest is going to hold the treat in their hand, palm of their hand flat like this, off to the side. Now what he's going to do is he's going to bring the dog, not yet, he's going to bring the dog up to this treat. However, we cannot let Ruby pull her way. And if she's snarling and growling, we're going to stop, put her in a sit. So if we go through these treats, if she's kind of pulling and aggressive, stop, sit. After she gets the treat, then we take her walk 1 step to the next treat, tell her, after she gets it, tell her to stop and sit. Kind of what we did in the lobby off camera. We want to stop and slow down the process. If we let the dog just rush ahead and pulling, it's getting more and more intense the closer it gets to the guest. We want to stop, have the dog settle, then take another 1 step, get the treat, stop, settle, 1 step. Now, you don't always have to have the dog stop and take a sit in between each treat. This is just if she's really worked up. All right, so now the guest is going to hold the treat out like this, and the guest is going to look this way. This is why we can't let her pull or be aggressive, because the guest is going to be completely trusting the handler to make sure. And so as a handler, your responsibility is not let her approach anyone if she's tense, she's pulling, she's growling, she's acting aggressively. We want her to approach them in a very casual way. So now let's go ahead and I'm going to have you sit in the far corner of the couch, keep it rolling. And I'm going to have you go ahead and now approach us. So I'm going to be looking this way. She comes and gets the treat. The person's not going to try to pet her. They're going to leave their hand here. See how after she took the treat, she came back to sniff my hand again? That's pretty normal behavior for dogs. Gives her a chance to sample them again. So now what we're doing is basically changing the perception. She thinks she's a guard dog. She thinks that's how she contributes to this family. We want her rules and structure in off camera to help her start to identify as a follower's mindset. but we're also going to use basically a variant of counter conditioning to help her create a positive association. So in her mind, when guests come to the door, treats literally fall from the sky. Well, in this case, from the guest's hand. So every time a guest comes over, I get 4 of the tastiest treats I've ever had on the floor. Then I walk over to the guest, I get one out of their hand, and I got to sniff the guest, which is how dogs should meet through scent. And then after I take the treat and I chew it over here. Oh, the hand's still out there. I'm gonna go sniff. Did I miss a treat? No. But it gives the dog a chance to sniff that person again. And again, the person's not trying to pet her. And then at this point, if she's nice and relaxed, good, then we can go ahead and take her maybe over there and sit, excuse me, across the room. If she's nice and relaxed with this sort of energy, we could drop the leash. We don't want to keep tension on the leash. That will create tension with her, and it'll create a situation where she'll be a little bit more tense with the person because that tension is on the leash. Sorry, I got a little frog in my throat. So if we repeat this process every time that we have a guest come over, and ideally we'd like to have at least one guest come over a day for a week. By the end of the week, she'll start feeling comfortable. First of all, I'm far enough away from the door so I don't perceive them as a threat, and I don't have to interact with them until after I've gotten these treats. And so we're creating, like I said, the positive association. We're not letting her pull. We're kind of negating her or stopping her from barking and lunging. And she's barking and lunging to disagree. But with this setup and with this structure, she's creating a good association with them. And after a while, she'll be like, can we get somebody to come and visit? Can we have the Jimmy John's guy come inside? Because I get treats whenever we have a new visitor inside the house. All right, so this is the bonus video about how you can have your dog, how you can create a positive association so your guests can come into your home and your dog is less territorial about the exchange.